Welcome back to The Real Story. Well, we've seen snake preachers, people speaking in tongues. Now a new documentary shows another kind of a church that has pastors literally fighting for their faith.
Listen, finishing strong doesn't mean we win every battle. Jesus never quit. Jesus never tapped out. He finished what he came to do.
Can you love your neighbor as yourself and then at the same time knee him in the face as hard as you can?
Well, the fighters are bringing their message from the cage to the pulpit. And unlike Fight Club, Fight Church is something people are encouraged to talk about. Joining me now to talk about their film, Academy Award-winning director Daniel Youngie, and Paul Burris, a former MMA fighter and pastor of Victory Church. Great to see the both of you. Thanks for being here.
Thank you. Thanks for having us.
Paul, let me start with you because you're sitting right across from me here. You're a fighting pastor, aren't you?
Yes, ma'am.
And you've been doing this for 15 years. Who would have known? How do you combine Jesus teaching with punching somebody out?
Well, to us, it's just a sport, and we have a lot of different sports ministries at our church. We have hockey and basketball and volleyball and kids dance, and I think we just take the talents, the gifts, the abilities God gives us and use it to try to make a difference in our community. So,
well, it's very fascinating because I had not heard of it, but you've been doing this for 15 years. Daniel, what got your interest in this very unusual way of talking about Christ?
Yeah, some producer friends of mine had told me that they knew of a pastor, obviously that's Paul, who had a fight ministry in his church. And I thought, I mean, obviously it's very provocative. It's a provocative topic. But I also thought it was an interesting way to explore the confluence of religion and violence, or so-called violence. Also, as we got into this, we realized that there's a growing number of churches around the country that are using fight ministries in some way, shape, or form.
You know, it's interesting because I was just talking to Paul. He said, yep, not just my church. It's happening all over the country. So, Paul, my question for you is that in the Bible, Jesus preaches nonviolence. So how do you get around that?
well, to us, it's not violence, it's sport. You know, it's not being mean, it's not attacking somebody. You have two people that agree to get into a competition against one another. There's no hatred there. In fact, some of my best friends in the world I fought before, you know, now we're friends.
So is it a way of getting people to come to church?
Well, yeah, for sure. We have, by reaching into different communities that maybe a normal church wouldn't reach. So you'll have kind of, you know, the fighters come in for our fight ministry, dancers will come in for our dance ministry. We have an archery ministry that brings in hunters. And so we want to really just reach the community where they are with the skills that God has given us. Mm-hmm. If I could play basketball, I would. I'm just 5'0" and can't hoop.
Hey, I hear you, pal. I'm short as well. So Daniel, what was the most intriguing thing? You've been a filmmaker for quite some time. Doing this, what captivated you most about this topic?
Well, quite frankly, I had profound misgivings about this going into it. But I think what's the most interesting thing to me is that I won't say that I don't have any misgivings anymore, but you meet a guy like Paul who's incredibly passionate about what he believes in. And, when he says it's two consenting adults doing this, then, that argument usually flies for me. That I really had to change the way I thought about this in the making of this film, and I think that's a great documentary when you come in there with strong feelings and you have to question yourself.
Yeah, I have to say, growing up going to church my whole life, never been to a fight church, but my grandfather's a minister. I guess he might be in favor if it meant more people were coming to church. Well, check out. I gotta go, but I want to make sure I get the date out there. 24th. This is going to be released in Boston. People can check out Fight Church. Daniel and Paul, thanks much.
Thank you so much.
Thanks.
A marriage proposal nearly